The Paris Metro is iconic, a symbol of elegance, efficiency, and Parisian poise. But for the average American stepping into this subterranean waltz for the first time, it's chaos in cursive. Because navigating the metro isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about decoding symbols, surviving transfers, and performing a sort of urban ballet with doors, signs, and silence. One misstep, and you're halfway to Versailles when you meant to visit the Eiffel Tower. This isn't just a transit system, it's a test of cultural translation. And today we're unpacking why so many Americans, even seasoned subway pros, find the Paris Metro utterly mystifying. The lines are numbers. The logic? Debatable. In New York, there's a rhythm you can feel. Uptown, downtown, east side, west side. The subway may be messy, but it follows a kind of logic, a grid. The trains are labeled with letters or numbers. You know the A goes this way, the 6 goes that way. It's fast, direct, and once you figure it out, pretty predictable. But Paris? That's a different story. There are 16 metro lines. They're numbered 1 through 14, but then there's also a 3 bis and a 7 bis. Little bonus lines that feel like someone added them last minute and just couldn't give them a new number. Bis means encore, or again in French. But to a tourist, it just means, wait, what? Each line has a different color, which helps, at first. Until you realize the colors can repeat, and some look so similar on the map that you start second-guessing every connection. Try spotting the difference between Line 8's lavender and Line 9's light green while squinting at a wall map during rush hour. And then there's Line 13. It starts as one line, but eventually splits into 2 completely different directions. So you could be riding along, thinking you're on the right train, until suddenly you're in the suburbs, and not the one you wanted. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure book, except you don't get to choose, unless you already knew the twist ending. Also, unlike many American subways, there's no express or local. Every train stops at almost every station. So if you get on the wrong line, you can't just switch to an express to fix it. You're riding that mistake all the way through. The Paris Metro isn't random. It has a structure, but that structure is very Parisian, charming, historic, and not especially concerned with your comfort if you don't understand it. It's not trying to confuse you on purpose. It just doesn't feel the need to explain itself, because in Paris, you're expected to catch up, not the other way around. Châtelet-Les Halles, a station or a warning. It's not just a metro station. It's a kingdom beneath the streets, a city within a city. Technically, it's the largest underground transit hub in Europe. In real life, it feels even bigger. You don't just change trains here. You go on a full-blown expedition. You walk, you hike, you ride escalators that go up, then down, then sideways. You follow signs that point in 5 directions at once. You see ceilings that seem to tilt, twist, and fold over themselves like an M.C. Escher painting. You start wondering if you're still in Paris, or maybe inside a video game. You might enter on line 7 thinking you're catching line 4, only to find yourself 15 minutes later in a shopping mall. Not kidding. The Les Halles complex is connected to a giant underground mall. You could be looking for your platform and end up in front of a Foot Locker. Even New Yorkers who are used to messy transfers and confusing corridors will admit this is next level. Châtelet isn't just long, it's otherworldly. The kind of place where GPS gives up and Google Maps just spins in a circle like, you're on your own. And here's the kicker. There's no cell service in parts of it, no signal, no Wi-Fi. So when you get lost, and you will, you can't even search for directions. That's when the real panic kicks in. Or if you're embracing the French spirit, a bit of existential dread. You begin to wonder, am I lost in a train station or in life? Châtelet-Les Halles isn't just a metro stop, it's a rite of passage. One way or another, you come out changed. The ticketing system, paper cuts, and philosophy. Then there's the fare system, which at first glance looks modern and convenient. But once you're actually in it, it feels less like tap and ride and more like choose your own struggle. Your journey might start with a T-plus ticket, a tiny paper slip about the size of a fortune cookie message that gets you a single ride on the metro, trams, or buses within Paris city limits. Simple, right? Except you have to buy a new one for each trip. Or better yet, buy a stack of 10, known as a carnet, which sounds like something luxurious, but really just means bulk discount. You carry them around like playing cards, praying you don't bend or lose one, and feeding them into the turnstile with that nervous swipe, swipe, swipe motion. Too slow, rejected, upside down, try again, slightly wrinkled, you're out of luck. So naturally, someone got the idea to make things easier with the Navigo Easy Card. It's a slim, reloadable plastic card, the Metro's attempt at going contactless. You load your T Plus tickets onto it and just tap and go. No more paper slips, no more crumpled pockets. Problem solved? Not quite. Because when you run out of rides, you have to reload the card at a kiosk, most of which have touchscreens in French, no English, and no margin for error if there's a line forming behind you. Suddenly your speed reading menu options you barely understand, trying to find recharge before someone behind you sighs in Parisian. And just when you think you figured it out, someone mentions the Navigo Découverte. This one is a completely different card, not reloadable with individual tickets, but instead sold with weekly or monthly passes. It's meant for locals and long-term visitors. Sounds great until you learn the requirements. You need a passport-sized photo, you need to register, and you can't buy it just anywhere. Only at certain stations with proper service counters, which of course never seem to be the one you're standing in. And here's the kicker, all three options, T Plus tickets, Navigo Easy, and Navigo Découverte, exist side by side. There's no single, unified system, no best method that fits everyone. Each has its own rules, quirks, and compatibility zones. Like three overlapping circles in a Venn diagram that almost make sense, but don't. It's not that Paris doesn't offer choice, it offers too much choice, all just different enough to cause confusion. You're left wondering, should I be using paper? Plastic? Do I need a photo? Is this the right pass for a week or just a few rides? The fare system is like a Monet painting. From a distance, it's charming. It looks refined, thoughtful, almost artistic. But get up close, really try to use it. And it's a blur of overlapping brush strokes, beautiful but maddening. The doors don't open themselves. In the US, subway doors are automatic. You don't think about them, they just open. It's part of the rhythm, part of the reliability. The train stops, the doors slide, and you walk through. Done. But in Paris, the metro has its own rules, especially on the older lines where doors won't open unless you make the first move. You might be looking for a small green button near the frame, or maybe a bronze handle that you need to pull upward with a little force, and there's no flashing light or polite chime to let you know. The train arrives, the doors sit there, and the seconds tick by. If you're not paying attention, or you've never seen it before, it's easy to just wait and wait until someone else walks up confidently and presses the magic button. Or worse, the doors stay shut, the train hisses, and you're left standing on the platform as it pulls away, still holding your map, wondering what just happened. It's not a design flaw, it's just part of the culture. The Paris Metro expects you to participate. It asks for a small gesture of effort, a signal that you're awake, aware, and engaged. It's an old system, older than most, and like many things in Paris, it mixes function with a dash of theater. You're not just riding, you're taking part. But for visitors, especially Americans used to everything being automatic, it can feel like a practical joke. One with no punchline, just a closed door and the realization that sometimes you have to ask the city to let you in. Sortie means exit. Probably. Signage in the Paris Metro is minimalist, clean fonts, arrows, an elegance that suggests it's all very clear, until it's not, because very little is in English. And while sortie is the universal sign for exit, you may find 5 of them in the same station, each leading somewhere completely different. Should you take sortie 1 or sortie 4? Does that lead to Rue de Rivoli or just a street you can't pronounce? Good luck. And if you're transferring between the Metro and the RER, the suburban train network, be prepared for a second layer of confusion, complete with its own rules, ticketing quirks, and signage hierarchy. The stations don't coddle. They assume you know, or that you'll ask, or that you'll figure it out eventually. It's not wrong, it's just not American. Here's the twist. The Paris Metro isn't bad. In fact, it's extraordinary. Trains run every few minutes. Strikes aside, it's reliable. Coverage is incredible. You can get nearly anywhere in the city, often faster than by car. And once you adapt to the rhythm, it's intuitive in its own refined French way. But for Americans, especially those used to the gridded chaos of New York, the tap-and-go ease of Omni, or the English-saturated signage of US systems, It's a jolt. You're not just navigating tunnels, you're navigating a different way of thinking. Paris doesn't hold your hand. It asks you to keep up. The metro as metaphor. In the end, the Paris metro is more than just a way to get from A to B. It's a living, breathing reflection of the city it serves. It's elegant, but it makes you work for it. It's old, layered, full of secrets, with stories etched into every corridor, every creaking escalator, every tiled station name faded just enough to suggest it's seen things. It's not interested in welcoming you with open arms. Like Paris itself, it waits for you to approach on its terms. And yet, beneath all the confusion, the contradictions, and the inevitable moments of mild panic, the metro functions with a kind of understated precision. Trains come quickly. Lines are dense and far-reaching. It connects a sprawling, ancient metropolis in ways no other system quite manages. It's a machine built not for simplicity, but for depth. If you're willing to look closer, if you're patient enough to decipher its logic, you'll find that it doesn't just work. It thrives. Maybe that's the real lesson for American travelers, or any outsider stepping into the rhythm of a place with centuries behind it. You can't approach it with a tourist's mindset. You can't force it to feel familiar. You have to surrender to the chaos. Let yourself be humbled by the wrong platform, the missed connection, the strange labyrinth of Châtelet. Laugh at your confusion. Let the city shake you up a little.